Not every food is the same when it comes to weight gain. Some foods are much more likely to contribute to weight gain than others, and much of that has to do with the calorie density of the foods. What is calorie density? Before explaining that, let's make sure we understand what calories are. A calorie is a measure of energy. When we talk about how many calories a food contains, we are actually talking about kilocalories. A kilocalorie is the energy necessary to raise 1 kilogram of water by 1 degree Celsius. The food that you eat has chemical bonds that hold the molecules together, and those bonds are broken apart in the digestion process. When those bonds are broken, they release energy, much of which is in the form of heat. And 1 calorie of food, when broken down, will release enough heat to raise 1 kilogram of water by 1 degree Celsius. Each calorie of food that you eat is going to be used in one of two ways. It will either be broken down and its energy used to help your body function, which will produce heat as a byproduct, or it will be stored as fat to be broken down at some later time when the energy is needed. If you eat more calories than what you need for your body to function, the excess calories will be stored as fat. Now back to calorie density. Calorie density is how many calories or kilocalories that a food contains in 1 pound of that food. So let's look at 200 calorie portions of different foods and see how they compare to each other, so that we can clearly understand this topic of calorie density. If you want to eat 200 calories of a cheeseburger, you can only eat 2.6 ounces of a small cheeseburger. That's about half of the burger. But if you want to eat 200 calories of honeydew melon, you would have to eat half of the melon, about 1.2 pounds. Which would fill you up more, half a cheeseburger or half a honeydew melon? Well, of course, the honeydew melon would fill you up more. And if you wanted to eat 200 calories of medium cheddar, you could only eat 1.8 ounces of it to get 200 calories. But if you wanted to eat 200 calories of cooked corn, you'd have to eat 11 ounces or a bowl full of it in order to get 200 calories. Which would fill you up more, 1.8 ounces of medium cheddar or 11 ounces of corn? Well, the corn, of course. And if you wanted to eat 200 calories of a Snickers bar, you could only eat about 1.4 ounces of that Snickers bar, about 4/5 of the bar. But if you wanted to eat 200 calories of whole grain flax bread, you would have to eat 4 slices or about 3.2 ounces of that bread. Which would fill you up more, 1.4 ounces of Snickers bar or 4 slices of flax bread? Well, the flax bread, of course. And if you wanted to eat 200 calories of Doritos chips, you could only eat a child's pack of 1.4 ounces. But if you wanted to eat 200 calories of an apple, you would have to eat about 4 apples or 13.6 ounces of apple slices in order to get 200 calories. Which would fill you up more, 1.4 ounces of Doritos or 13.6 ounces of apples? Well, the apples, of course. If you wanted to eat 200 calories of saltine crackers, you could eat 12 crackers or about 1.8 ounces. But if you wanted 200 calories of broccoli, you would have to eat 3 full heads of broccoli or 1.3 pounds of broccoli. Which would fill you up more, 12 saltine crackers or 3 full heads of broccoli? The broccoli, of course. And if you wanted to eat 200 calories of butter, you could eat 1 tablespoon or 1 ounce of butter. But if you wanted 200 calories of celery, you would have to eat 3.1 pounds of celery. Which would fill you up more, an ounce of butter or 3.1 pounds of celery? The celery, of course. Foods that are calorie dense are foods that are high in fat, sugar, or other processed carbohydrates. Foods that are not calorie dense are foods that are high in fiber and water. More specifically, plant foods such as vegetables, fresh fruits, whole grains, root crops, and beans, peas, and lentils are high in water and fiber and thus low in calories and therefore tend to weight loss. Whereas animals and animal byproducts and fats such as oils, margarines, shortenings, dressings, condiments, fried foods, and so on, or processed carbohydrates like sugars, sweeteners, pastries, desserts, candies, sugar-containing drinks, and white flour products are calorie dense and therefore tend to weight gain. Weight loss then becomes fairly simple. Eat more foods that are not calorie dense and avoid the foods that are. In other words, eat more whole plant foods and avoid animals and animal byproducts, fats, processed carbohydrates. This will take you a long way toward your weight loss goals. On our next Health Nugget, we will look at other healthy strategies that you can use to lose weight. So keep watching for the next Health Nugget.